Hi, everyone. In today's episode, we want to talk about membership statuses. Membership statuses. So, if you look on Nicole Adams' profile here, let me zoom this up a little bit. If you look on Nicole Adams' profile, if you look under member status, here you have regular attender. Regular attender. So, there are many different statuses that you can set: new believer, prospect, regular attender, and so on and so forth. Status is how Poimnion knows where somebody stands with your church. And once it's set, you can filter, right? Remember, we were looking at filtering a little bit in a couple of videos previously. So once it's set, you can filter, you can report, and you can follow up on it, right? So if you have ever wondered how many new believers do we actually have right now? How many new believers do we actually have? This is the field that answers it. You may ask, how many members did we lose in the past year? As in, how many have died? Membership statuses, this is how you answer that question. Okay, so let's go dive in and then you will see how it works. So here we are on Nicole Adams' page, and for any member at all, there is a section of the form that is called membership status. Membership status, right? And for membership status, the first status is no status, right? That's just the quote unquote default out the box system. Like if you're figuring out how to play someone, that's you leave it there for no status. But everyone will have a status eventually, or should have a status eventually, right? The most common one is going to be active member. Active member, it simply means that the person is actively a part of your church. It doesn't mean that they don't show up, but the person is active. The person is giving. They are participating as much as possible. They're alive. They're alive in the body, so to speak. So active member is going to be probably your most common designation. And what happens is that many times, people just leave active member as the default, but we're going to see that maybe not everyone who is there needs to have the active member designation. The active member designation is for an active member. How your church decides what active actually means, I'm going to leave that up to you. But I would say if the person is involved to some degree on an active basis to keep the church alive, then yes, that person is keep the church going. That person should be considered an active member. Maybe you have a better definition than I do, but that's what we're thinking about. The next status is deceased. I think this one is self-explanatory. Person is no longer with us. They were a part of your church. They have moved on to be with the Lord, whatever the case may be. But deceased just pretty much tells you, those who no longer are with us. So if someone has died in the church, this is what you set. And it's easy now to go back and see how many members have we lost, in the past 5 years, or in the past 3 years, or this year alone. That's where the reports tab comes in. Now, the next status is inactive. So inactive simply means someone who is a member, but they are no longer coming to the church, right? They are around, they probably visit every now and again, but they are not involved in anything at all, and they don't necessarily want to get involved in anything at all. You're not trying to question their faith. That's not what you're doing. But as far as the life of the church is concerned, they are not actively a part of the church anymore. Then you have new believer. This is someone who has recently given their life to the Lord, not someone necessarily coming in from another church, who has been with the Lord a long time. New believer essentially is someone who recently gave their life to the Lord. Then you have prospect, right? These are the Corneliuses. These are the people who have not yet given to the Lord, but they support the work of the Lord. They pray, they are religious, they come to church every Sunday. A husband might come with his wife, or a wife might come with her husband, or the children might come with their parents, but the children are not yet saved. They're adults, whatever the case may be. So if someone is a regular part of your church, or if there is someone in a community that you did evangelism, and these are people that you want to follow up with, you want to reach out to, you get their names at an event that you had, you want to set them as prospect, right? So you can easily see all the prospects that are part of your church. Next, you have regular attender. The regular attender is someone who is always at church, right? Not necessarily yet a member, not necessarily a new believer. Could be somebody that's, feeling out your church. They want to see, do I want to be a part of this church? Do I want to take membership here? It doesn't mean that they are not saved, right? This is not trying to make that decision as to who is walking with the Lord, who is saved or not. But if someone is just always there, not yet a member, maybe they say that they are baptized and born again, so that means they are not a prospect, they're just a regular attender. This is the designation that you would give them. Now, next one is under care. Under care just simple mean that someone that is possibly going through a traumatic situation. There is like a sick and shut-in scenario going on, or any other type of trauma. So you could put this person under care, or you could leave it as an active member if the person active, or any one of the other designations that apply, because there is another part of this form that has to do with care status, right? So care status, we could set that up with a sick or shut in and all of that. But we're going to talk about that at another point in time. But under care, you could decide how you want to use it. But it generally has to do with, if someone is currently going through that phase of needing care. So you could actively change that. Then the final one we have is visitor. Visitor is someone just passing through, someone just walked in off the road on a Sunday. Someone invited someone, you got their names. Probably they wouldn't mind having some follow-up from the church, whatever the case may be. Someone who's just visiting the church for the summer, whatever the case may be, something like that. They could be. So there's a thin line between a prospect and a visitor. Not every visitor, quote unquote, is unsaved, and a prospect just has to do with the possibility of someone who you can lead to Christ and hopefully can lead to your church to be a part of your fellowship. So these are the statuses that we have: active member, deceased, inactive, new believer, prospect, regular attender, under care, and visitor. These are the 8 statuses that we have. Of course, probably you could have more, but I believe you could find what you want here to designate a status, so to speak, to a particular person. So now, once you set a status, keep in mind that you have this wonderful option that is called, let me go scroll down, called filters, right? So once you set a status, you go to condition, and then you go to status. There you go, status right here, and then you select the particular status, and you can see all those people who are part of that status, right? All those who are under care, all those who are prospects, all those who are new believers. It is very easy to see all the statuses in your organization. And of course, when it comes to communication as well, as I mentioned a little earlier, or in another video, when you are communicating, you can communicate by status, right? So you could send something to all the prospect, or you could send something to all active members, similar to what we are able to do up here. It's just that you can do a little bit more with the communications tab, because you can send robocalls here, you can send text messages, and you can send emails, and so on and so forth. So that's it in a nutshell, guys, when it comes to statuses. Very important. Ensure that you set your statuses and that you use your statuses well, because this is one of the ways that you know really where someone stands in your church. And remember, Poimnion is geared towards pastoring or shepherding the entire body of Christ well, right? So I just invite you to look around where your status is concerned and ensure all is set for your church and use it accordingly, all right? So that's it for this video. May the Lord bless you and catch you on the next one.